Welcome to eCouncil's edition of Structuring Your Business. We hope that you're doing very well, and we wish you the best of luck in your new business venture. Opening a business is definitely one of the most important steps that you'll take in the process of your professional life. It's important for a lot of reasons, but the essential piece of setting up your business is making sure that you choose the correct business structure. Not just the correct business structure for your business, but the correct business structure for you and your family. There are some structures of businesses that don't protect your family and you from potential liability down the road, and many that do protect you. So you need to decide what's right for you based on your business endeavors and your goals. So we'll talk about a couple of different forms of business entity and some basics about what they mean for you. The first one is a sole proprietorship, which I'm sure everybody's heard of. It's a very common form of business entity. It is not a separate and distinct entity from you or your family, which means that, unfortunately, if there is a lawsuit or any kind of a claim or any kind of an issue down the road at any point, your assets and your family's assets will and could be subject to liability and exposure. If this is something you want to preclude, then you probably don't want to set up a sole proprietorship. The next form of business entity is a general partnership. Essentially, it's like a sole proprietorship that you're sharing with others that become your partners. So the issue again is that it's not a completely separate and distinct entity, and therefore your assets are subject to liability, your home, your cars, whatever the case may be. The benefit of it, of course, is that your partners might share equally in the responsibility, but if your partners don't have deep pockets to the extent that you do, your exposure will be greater than theirs. And there's really not much that you can do about that other than limit your liability in the form of a more formal type of corporate structure, which we'll talk about now. A C corporation, which is usually prefaced or suffixed by INC or corp, so in other words, ABC, INC would be a C corporation, generally speaking, is set up with its respective division of state in your respective state. And once you set that up, it creates a default entity of a C corporation, which means it's automatically treated as a C corporation, which generally most large businesses in the U.S. are treated as. A C corporation has two levels of taxation, both at the corporate level and the personal level. So in other words, any shareholder in a C corporation will face two levels of taxation for all of the income of the C corp. The advantage of a C corp, or one of the two advantages, is that there is no limit to the number of shareholders, and another advantage is that you can have both foreign and domestic shareholders as owners of the business. It's a very advantageous way to do business if you eventually want to go public or raise capital from third parties or outside investors. So that's important to remember. The next type of business entity, is an S corporation. An S corporation is the way that most small businesses run, and it involves, after you file your articles of incorporation with the Department of State, as in a C corporation, you then file an S corporation election with the IRS, which then entitles you to only receive one level of taxation, and all of the income and losses of the business will flow through to the shareholders individually. So there's only one level of taxation. It's very important to remember. The challenge or restriction of an S corporation is that you're only allowed a maximum of 100 shareholders, and those 100 shareholders must all be either U.S. citizens or residents, so no foreign owners are involved or allowed or permitted. That's important to remember if you eventually do want to go public or grow your business, because the restriction is a significant one and could create an imposition on you trying to raise capital from outside sources. The next type of business entity is a limited liability company, also known as an LLC. The acronym LLC will go on the end of the company's name. In other words, it would be ABC, LLC. An LLC, interestingly enough, can also receive an S corporation election if you apply for it. There's just certain restrictions and requirements that need to happen. And for that information, we would recommend that you speak with your attorneys and accountants to figure out exactly what's the right choice for you. An LLC does not have two levels of taxation. In other words, just like in an S Corp, the income and losses automatically flow through to the shareholders. And by the way, the shareholders in a limited liability company are not called shareholders, they're actually called members. And the shares are called units. So it's just a difference in semantics with the same general meaning. An LLC doesn't have restrictions on the number of shareholders, and also similarly doesn't have restrictions on whether they're foreign or domestic. So this could be a reason to consider it as a feasible option for you. An LLC is probably the most common and popular form of business entity today. It's also the newest form, so that could explain the reason for the popularity of it, because everybody always wants to do what's new and exciting. But it's a good option for you if the circumstances are right. Again, what we recommend is that you speak with your attorneys and accountants every step of the way to determine what's the appropriate type of business entity for you in your circumstances and with your particular needs and goals. So please consult with them before making any decision on your own. In all cases, a taxpayer identification number is needed. That creates a social security number essentially for your business. And it's what your business will use in all cases for any kind of filing, any kind of bank account, anything that it does, just like anything you do is associated with your social security number, anything that your business does is associated with your taxpayer ID number. That's an important feature. That's also filed for with the IRS. So you request a taxpayer ID number as soon as you receive your confirmation of approval from the Department of State. Last but not least, we would invite you to visit our website for further information or to sign up for our newsletter, which we would love to share with you, to participate in our blog, or to request further information. And our website can be found at www.ecounsilinc.com. I'll spell that out for you. It's a little challenging. It's ECOUNCILINC.com. That's ecounsilinc.com, and we look forward to helping you and wish you the best of luck and success in your business endeavors. Thank you for your time.